listening to Vince and Matt on the Montreal Marketeers podcast. And we're here to interview and to storytell with the one and only William Biney from Quality Cuts. So who's William Biney?
William Biney is a dreamer, somebody that likes to see himself in others, and I would say the most part of it, a fashion consultant.
Fashion consultant?
Yeah.
Why fashion consultant?
Just think about it. When you walk into the shop, you come here to get complimented. And the way that we compliment you is by your haircut. So your haircut complements your gear, your haircut complements your shoes, complements your smile.
So is your haircut the accessory, or is it the main piece?
I would say your haircut identifies you. You know what I mean? Your shoes won't identify you. Your watch won't identify you. But I find a haircut sets the mood. You know, people walk in here, or people might think, oh man, I'm feeling like crap. I need a haircut. I got a job interview. First impression.
Yeah.
I need a haircut. I want to ask this girl out. I need a haircut. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it gives you that extra boost to motivate you to proceed to the best you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I try and influence that in this shop. So when you ask me who am I, I'm a father of two, happily married. I have to say that because I'm
no choice at this point.
happily married, and happy to be a part of a great team with great barbers that not only respect the craft, but they're passionate about their craft. That makes it fun. When you come to work and it doesn't feel like work, it makes it fun. So who am I? I'm just a Joe Blow that likes to cut hair.
And you bring the best out of people.
Yeah,
through that.
Basically, yeah.
I notice you sometimes call yourself a therapist, and I know as a barber, it must come out a bit out of people, you know.
Guaranteed.
So when you have those people come in that want something they've never had before as a haircut, you automatically identify that's important moment for them, something to change, or?
Yeah, people come in. You know what? A barber is trusted almost more than a person's spouse, because we're the last hands-on, personal, I would say, craft that is just so close and up and personal with you, right? We're so close to you. Anybody else other than your wife comes that close to you, there's a problem. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like when your barber crosses that line and your guard isn't up because you trust him, that allows you to talk about so many different things, because at the end of the day, don't forget, you're coming in here because you feel a certain way and you want to leave feeling a different way. You know, so guys come up in here getting a haircut, but they actually come here so that they could just leave their problems and leave feeling good, you know? So that's why I would say that we're sort of like therapeutic to people.
Yeah.
And some guys don't even come here for the haircut. It's like they come here it's like 5 days already passed and they're like, yo, can I just get a lineup? I'm like, you still look fresh. Like, oh man, you know? It's a good craft, and I feel like
but you're providing more than just a cut. You're providing an experience. This is a story in itself. This is one reason why I really want to do this podcast with you in Quality Cuts, because I found my experiences here. I feel like I'm a part of the shop. Like I'm one of you guys. You know, even if I may only see you here and there every few weeks and so forth, you feel at home.
You know what? It's cool that you brought that up. I think one of the key things that we try and stick by, and that's for anybody that's planning to open a barbershop or works in a barbershop, I would say like one of the most important things is don't let status of your customers validate their importance. And what I mean by that is treat everybody the same. The second status walks up in here, keep it at the door. Make everybody feel like when they come up in here, they feel equal. Doesn't matter what their tax bracket is or what they're driving outside, you know what I mean, or what they're wearing, because you want everybody to leave feeling the same. You know what I mean? They might come up in here feeling different, but it becomes like, you know, everybody's treated equal.
To me, in a barbershop, you know, I personally find my hair is, you know, normal hairdo, nothing out of the ordinary. So when I see a place like this, I'm like, oh, people come here like really get some nice haircuts and not something I'm not used to in a sense. So do you have customers like that just want like the regular cut and they're trying to eke into like,
you know what,
more stylish, let's say?
They come in asking for a regular haircut.
Yeah.
and what we do is give them something that is suitable. So that means they saw a picture and was like, you know what, I like that regular me.
Yeah.
But we're not here to make you look regular.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Like, our clientele they're very detailed in what they want. Some guy could come up here and just say, I just want a number one. We'll give him the number one, but we'll make sure that the edges are sharp so he feels different. Because what's the point of coming here and getting the same cut that you could get somewhere else?
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we distinguish ourselves and not have competition and just create our own lane. Therefore, we just do what we do and not try and copy or mimic anybody else.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And for you, obviously, you know, you have your own style and all that. Let's say now you've grown a lot, you have a big team. How is it choosing, you know, the barbers you're going to work with to make sure that the image you want to, or the service you want to give to your clients, everybody's following it?
You know what's crazy? And that's for other barbers that are trying to get other barbers on their team. First question, are you doing this for the money, or do you wake up thinking about barbering? Mm-hmm. It's that simple, because if the guys are like, oh man, I heard I saw one of my boys, now he's a barber and he's making a whole lot of money, money's not going to come to you. People have to see that you're passionate for them to be driven to you, you know? Like, anybody that was ever great never did it for the money in anything that they did. We could go down the history book. Anybody that was great never did it for the money. And that's why Donald Trump will never be great. I hope he's not watching this.
So before we get into the business side, then, let's set a precedent here then. What is William Biney in it for? What gets you up in the morning and says, I can't wait to get in today?
You know, it's simple. Every day is different. There's not one day that is the same, because everybody's lives, it doesn't repeat the same way. So there's something else that somebody wants to talk about. There's something else that they're feeling. It's just interesting to be the ear. You don't always have to be the one talking. That's another tip for some of the barbers. You don't always have to be the one talking. Just listen. Some people just want to be heard. So I wake up in the morning knowing that somebody, not that I'm a necessity, not that I'm in demand. I've put myself in a position where I'm in demand. I'm in certain people's schedule book. Certain people revolve their week around me. So I've made myself important enough so that when I come to work, I know X amount of people are coming in and X amount of people need a certain customer service, a certain service, and they want to be heard, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what I wake up coming to. I wake up coming to a lot of people's stories, and it's not just a haircut for me. It's not just, I'm just gonna make this guy look good. It's also like, my job is done when they're like, yo, thanks, Will, man. I'm like, yeah, no problem. I book in 2 weeks? Yeah, sure, man. Yeah. It's cool, you know, it's like a brotherhood.
This didn't come easy to you. This came at a price as well. Whether it's spending time elsewhere to save for a project or not. Let's go back. I want to take it back from the beginning. At what point did you know becoming a barber was like this is something I have to do? It was your trade, one, and tie that into how you built your first shop, your first brand, your first image, which is obviously still today Quality Cut.
But you know what? I'm sure a lot of barbers too. The reason why they started cutting hair was because they kept getting bad haircuts, right? It's just. So
this was the case for you?
Yeah, it was. You know what? I won't throw anybody under the bus. I was getting good haircuts at a certain moment of time, and at a certain age, I started realizing I needed a certain detail that I was looking for, and I think that comes with anybody just understanding and discovering who they are. I ended up realizing that the haircut that I was getting wasn't what I was looking for, and I started just trying to do it myself. You know, and it just wasn't going the way I wanted it. So I needed to learn how to do it. And I just got that interest into cutting hair and started cutting. I was cutting at the house, but mostly in the backyard, not too crazy. And then my father had a friend that owned a salon. So I went there and I worked there for like maybe a summer. Moved on to a friend telling me, yo, there's a new spot that just opened up, a good friend of mine. It was called Aphrodisiac at the time. That place was bumping.
Where is it located?
It was on Blank, Roxborough. Okay. It's now known as, it's known as Laced Up Fashions. It wasn't Laced Up, now it's Premium. You guys go check them out, they're cool guys. Back then it was Aphrodisiac. And man, they had Pappy there. If anybody knows Pappy, heavy hitter in the West Island. Stanley, rest in peace, he's no longer with us, one of my mentors. Julius worked there. I think Julius works at He owns Consulier. I think it's like by Griffintown or something.
Okay.
Tyre, T-Blade worked there. So many barbers. I would say that Aphrodisiac, then turning into Laced Up, brought the best barbers in Montreal.
There's a reason in particular, like the environment?
In Montreal, I would
clients?
say in the West Island, sorry. Let me bring that back. Just to give respect, because there's a lot of really good barbers in Montreal. In the West Island.
It was like an incubator, I guess.
Yeah,
it was
bred like, it was real, like the roots of barbering. Because barbering evolved now. It's become a lot easier because of technology. But still, if you have the backbone of how barbering was before, everything looks, okay, I just said easier. It's easier for us, the guys that started back then, to kill super detailed cuts and fades, and now fusing into the hairdressers with a lot of scissor work. Right now, I would say the West Island, all the sickest barbers went through that shop. I would even give a shout out to Devon. He just opened up a shop called Grensville. Anybody can check him out, real nice.
And do you still stay in contact with the people I used to work with that open their own shops? Is it
guaranteed? It's not going to be the same as when they were right beside you every day, but guaranteed, still love.
So it's kind of like the restaurant business in the sense that, yeah, you're competitors, but at the same time, it's all a camaraderie or.
I find this unique. If anybody's listening and they could take something from this, don't get discouraged or feel like you're in competition with any barbershop, because hair grows. It's that simple. And if you know how to give a good service, your clients are going to come back to you. And we cannot cut everybody in the West Island or anybody that works at a barbershop.
Yeah.
Hair grows. It has a timeline. So we can't cut everybody. We could have another 1,000 barbershops and we still wouldn't be able to cut everybody. You know, so it's just focus on your clientele, grow it the way you can, and make sure you keep them happy. You know?
So when you look at it on a business standpoint, so you obviously, you grew, you have 2 locations now.
Yeah.
And obviously you have a finite amount of time to actually cut hair. Like you're saying, you only have X amount of time in a day, and there's a lot of people need their haircut.
Exactly.
So how do you grow? I guess you focus on your brand. How do you grow as an entrepreneur in this industry?
You try and move with like-minded people. That's in any craft, right? You move away as far as you can from naysayers, and it's not because they're bad people. It's just because the fear of them taking risks, they pass it on to others. They just don't think it's a good idea, or they don't think you should put your eggs in that basket. But without risks, you can't succeed. You know what I mean?
You can't prove that things are gonna work if
If you never try, if you don't try it, then you'll never know. So you just move around with people that take risks, obviously calculated, and that know what they're talking about, and aren't intimidated by other people doing great.
A lot of people would call risk a certain degree intuition. Sense that you kind of have a feeling that it should work this way. Did you have a feeling that intuition played a big role in growing your business, or? Well,
I have a good relationship with God. Very, very happy to voice that opinion. And at the end of the day, man, I don't only think that me just pushing and pushing and pushing is good. It's what's gonna happen. I have to listen to the business. I can't listen to people. People can be like, hey, you should open downtown. I hear that all the time. You should open here, man. You guys will do great. You guys will do this, do that. I just let God take me where I gotta go. If the gut feeling says, yo, because it's always your first instinct.
Yeah.
Your first gut feeling tells you the right thing, and that's for everybody. But then we give benefit of the doubt. We doubt, or we're scared, or you know what I mean. We push it aside. You gotta just go with your gut right away, and also just listen to your business. Listen to your business. If your business is doing great but not doing amazing, don't jump onto a next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Find out.
Make sure that it's doing so well that you don't need to work. You know what I mean? And then move on to the next one. Sorry.
So what did you do to prepare for that first business, that first opening? Did you have a goal? Let's get into like what was the goal that you had in mind? Was it monetary? You need to save this much money, you need to have this to open up this locale and this location. What was the process behind that?
Well, I worked out on the oil rigs in Alberta. I went out there for about 18 months. Crazy.
This is in what year?
Sorry?
This is in what year?
07, when like oil was booming. You know, Alberta was crazy. I was in Fort McMurray.
Okay.
Crazy work ethic. I think that's what pushed me more when I got back. Because Montrealers, we are spoiled.
Compared to out
Yeah,
west over there.
compared to out west, like we are city boys. That's what they used to call us. It's just crazy. The work ethic, good pay, saved enough money to come back here and invest in quality cuts.
Did you know?
And you were in a relationship at that time too. Gone
Yeah.
18 months,
Yeah.
juggling a few
Exactly.
balls, trying to make sure everything lands in your corner.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You need a strong girl behind you. You know, a strong girl behind you to freaking not go crazy, because it's crazy out there, man. It's you work 32 days straight, 1 week off, 16 to 18 hour shifts. You know, minus 60 degrees. They used to take a cup of hot water and throw it in the air and then turn it to ice. But man, you came back and I was just like ready for anything. You know, I thought working in a warehouse. I worked everywhere. People think, oh, Will must have it easy, man. You know, he just like kept cutting hair, chilling, and no, man. When you first start out, I started cutting hair for free. And then it went to $5. Then my friends that were supporting me like, yo, bro, you can't hook me up free this time. And yeah, but you have 10 friends come see you and 5 of them say, yo, free. What are you left with? You know what I mean?
Especially when it's like getting busy, and now they're not only not getting paid, they're taking up another paying customer's place.
It's crazy, like, and then I was at the point where, like, I have sometimes when we're training new apprentices, they're like, man, no one's sitting in my chair, you know, like, it's because the credibility is not there yet, you know what I mean? Like, people see that, oh, you're in quality cuts, cool, but we've never seen your face before, so you don't have that stamp of you're certified. But stay around long enough and they're gonna be like, yo, you're free? Shake their hand every time they walk in. It's all incentives, you know? Offer them a coffee, give them a free shampoo. One day they're gonna sit in your chair. I remember when I started, I was 16 and I was cutting with heavy hitters. They were all like 25 years old, very intimidating. I remember guys, I'd give them their card and throw it on the floor right in front of me. Right in front of me. If I tell anybody now that used to happen to me, they don't believe me. They're like, what? You're booked 2 weeks in advance, 3 weeks. You have to learn how to crawl before you could run. You know what I mean? So that's just for anybody that's discouraged. I had guys tell me, yo, you never cut my hair. Never, in front of everybody. In front of everybody. I was like, wow, guess what? I ended up cutting that same guy for his wedding 3 years later.
So did it fuel you to be better, or to get him in the end, or was it like somewhat discouraging?
It wasn't even getting it. Barbering is like it's infectious, you know, like it takes over your. If you know how to bottle it in right, it makes you a better person, because it's a gift and a curse. And this is for every barber in there, like any barber that's listening. It's a gift and a curse. If you know how to bottle up that popularity that it gives you, everywhere you walk, people know who you are. If you know how to humble that, soak it in, just like bring it down. People will start talking like, yo, this guy, he's a real deal. But if you just use that as a way to boost your ego, and I don't know, it takes over your judgment.
Do you see that a lot?
I see that a lot. A lot of people don't know how to take in compliments and just take it as what it is, and just like bottle it and say, you know what, I need, even though people are saying you're the best or this or that, I still need to get better.
The drive is always there.
Yeah, don't start thinking you're brand new. You know, don't start thinking that you're Hollywood.
So we're sitting in your second shop off the island of Montreal. Your first shop was where? Where was your first location?
First location was on Sources. Sources. What's the address? Do I even remember it? 1673. This Source, right beside the tattoo joint. What was it called?
Like you say, if I still remember, is it still open today? Is it?
No, it got firebombed. It was vandalized.
Oh wow.
Yeah. At that time, there was like. I would say competition.
So you were. I mean, I'm just gonna put myself and put everyone who's listening into your shoes. So here you come back after 18 months of hard work. You're getting your stuff together, making a plan. It's working out for you. You've got your first shop. You're building a brand, and then this happened. How do you?
I had a good girl.
How do you get out of it?
I had a good girl with me. I told you, man. behind every successful man is a friggin' stronger woman. You know what I mean? She's the one that's gonna
And she got you to move to
hold
the
you and
next.
say, hey, don't act stupid, don't go in, because you know, as men, we're very, we got balls, you know, and that ball sometimes could get us into trouble, you know, and it took a lot of prayer too, man, to just like, yo, put your pride aside.
Step back.
What are you gonna do? Who are you? What do you think you're John Gotti? You think you're
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You're not gonna do nothing. So relax, take a deep breather, use it as an advantage. Bad publicity is great publicity. 2 days later, we opened up shop. We're busier than ever, and that was around Christmas time. We had clients boycotting any other barbershop that was around just because they were like, man, we need to support. It was crazy. The community really supports us, and we're just like super grateful, you know, because ended up blowing up in a good way, and now we're at barbershop number 2.
And your other one is located where now? So people know if they want to go visit you.
Well, this is the other one. This is the second one.
but
yeah.
your first, but you still have it.
It's on Goyen, St. Charles. 16400 Goyen, St. Charles.
Okay. And how and why did you choose these specific locations?
Well, we had a certain percentage of people coming from Vaudreuil and Il Perot to the West Island, and they kept asking us, like, when are you guys gonna open in Vaudreuil? And then we heard at that time too, Vaudreuil was the fastest growing city, right? So in Canada.
Yeah, it's still, I think it's still top 5.
Yeah. So we were just like, you know what? Let's just test it out. We just had a little a ratio that we developed, and we tested it out. Came out here, and the rest is history, man. It really worked well.
Any plans for the future?
I take it day by day, man.
Day by day?
I think if you plan too far ahead, it's everybody different strokes for different folks. Okay, you can plan for the future. I just like to live in the present and not dwell in the past, because tomorrow is not promised. Yesterday, nobody wants to hear that stuff. Today is the only reality you have, you know? So make the best out of it.
Today now, how do you, I mean, before sounds like it was more word of mouth, referrals, with the social media aspect growing, digital, what are you doing today? I guess that's really different than when you're 16, obviously seeing barbers grow. Do you find it's easier with today's solutions, or is it more competitive?
It's like a gift and a curse. If you know what you're doing in any business, social media will catapult you. You know what you're doing, how to take your pictures, how to hashtag, how to really connect with your community. It's all about community. It has nothing to do with somebody in Portugal or someone in the United States. Yes, 1 or 2 connections, you could really actually direct contact, which is amazing for Instagram now. But it's your community that's gonna back you up at the end of the day, your bread and butter, you know? And I think it's easier now for new up and coming barbers because they could associate themselves with other barbers. They could ask for help. Back in the days, what are you gonna do? Ask for help for like somebody that cuts in the US that has a totally different way of cutting, somebody that cuts in Turkey, somebody that cuts in London, somebody that, what? You have all this. Back in the days, my social media was the 4 chairs around me.
You can imagine.
It was like, yo man, look what he's doing. Oh, let me learn that. Oh, look at this guy, look. And then that added to what I have now. But now these guys could go on so many people's pages, YouTube, freaking, you know what I mean? And just, it's crazy. Even this now, just the advice, you know, it's experience, years of advice that they could just listen into and be like, yo, I could take this, I could leave that, I could take this. It's crazy. It's a gift and a curse, because if you don't know how to use it, your cuts might be amazing, don't know how to use it, people think your cuts are crap because of the angles, or your page is just too busy. But at the end of the day, it's the community that's going to help you. Social media is going to help you, but I know guys that don't even touch social media and they're killing. Like these guys in Toronto. I know a couple guys, but the guys in Toronto that don't have a social media, don't use it, King's Landing, they're killing it. Really great guys. And another guys that are using social media that are also killing it, Glassbox. These guys are, I actually went up there to do a course, Menspire, amazing scissor work. We're actually having a 3-day trilogy in January. Josh LaMonica is going to be sending some of his guys down to this shop. So stay tuned, because we're going to be doing a workshop. It's going to be really cool. So I will be posting up those workshops. So stay tuned on that.
Is it sounds like you said down the pipe you're not sure, but you enjoy mentoring.
Yeah.
That's probably something that you seem to have a passion for. Is that what you're getting more and more involved with?
Yeah, because I like to see how I was, and like when I see somebody and I'm like, man, that's how I was. I know their potential, because I was that insecure kid that wanted to be somebody. I was like, what am I gonna do? Like I'm artistic. What am I gonna do? My dad was always like, what are you gonna do with your life? You have that option. We're in a North American society where opportunity is everywhere. Not everybody has that opportunity. We wake up. We could put something on Instagram, get a couple thousand followers, and all of a sudden now we're getting paid $10,000 to post an ad.
What does your dad say now?
10 years ago, like, whoa, huh?
What does your dad say now?
He's super proud.
He sees
proud.
that.
Yeah.
The hard work.
Yeah, my mother. My family supports me a lot. Yeah, it's crazy because who would have thought that cutting hair would get me this far? Back then. Now it's a community. Now it's not looked down upon anymore. Before, you're gonna cut hair? No, now it's I'm an artist. No, I'm a barber. I'm a stylist. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm a fashion consultant. So it's like you gotta love what you do, even if it's not barbering. If it's anything, you gotta love what you do.
Do you get free advice for consulting? Because Matt over here with his look that he currently has, he's gonna need some help.
Hey,
I know the podcast. They're lucky it's not on video right now.
Yeah,
your fans.
He's
I try.
At the end of the day, if you could walk with confidence in what you have, that's the ultimate compliment. Barbering, yes, I was saying a whole bunch of stuff before, but the confidence that you could rock, like sometimes a guy would walk in here and you'll ask for the wackiest cut. The confidence that he walks out with, we're like, yo, that's a dope cut, bro. He made us believe that cut. He'll be like, yo, I don't want to fade, I just want a straight baseline. And you're like, sure, bro? Don't tell anybody that you came here though. But the confidence that they leave, just like, yo, you know what? He's rocking it. He's rocking it, man.
Playing the part.
Yeah, he's playing the part. So we get sold too.
So, all in all, what advice do you have? Not necessarily for someone who wants to start their own, barbershop or wants to get in the industry, just in general, entrepreneurial advice for someone else that's gonna start their own thing. What would be those top 3 things? Let's break it down. These 3 things, just you gotta have this.
Okay, number 1 is love what you do. Just love what you do. Completely love what you do. Be passionate about it. Wake up, go to sleep thinking about how you could be better. Wake up finding that solution because your brain works twice as hard when you're sleeping than when you're awake.
So to you, it's not really work at this point. It's really
no. It's a passion, man. It's be passionate. Have that burning desire. You know what I mean? That like, yo, I want to be this, and you're gonna be it. Put that energy into it. You're gonna be it. Number 2, make sure that this is in the sense of being an owner. If you want to open up a shop, make sure that I was talking to you earlier about it. That you have a ratio.
Yeah.
Right? My ratio is always 1/4. 1 meaning is my expenses, my overhead, and the other 3 has to be for other investments. So if you personally could cover your rent at home, your mortgage at home, your mortgage here or your rent here, all your expenses, your overhead, paying the staff in the 1 week, then you're ready to open a business. Don't do it like your 3 weeks is what pays everything off, and then you have 1 week of your income. Because there's always going to be something new that you're going to realize you have to add to your expenses to further grow your business. And then you're going to be choked at the end of the day. Make yourself with low expenses to slowly get into half. When you're really big, half is a joke, right? But when you start off, make sure that your income is what allows you to grow that capital. Most people feel like when they first open a shop, they need to go all out. They need to have a crazy storefront. I was telling you about this. At the end of the day, if your quality is that good, people come from anywhere. You understand? You don't need to have the busiest street. Just make sure that what you have is that blue magic.
It's all about quality cuts in the end, right?
No, it's not about quality cuts, but a good haircut. Quality cuts is just. I'm with you on that.
I like that.
I'm not trying to tweet.
I love puns. I'm sorry. I have to do it.
He's trying to just. I'm not trying to tweet my own horn, but at the end of the day, make sure that your service is so good that people don't mind coming from Toronto to get haircuts. People don't mind coming from Chateauguay, coming from downtown, to get that service. So just make sure that's So those are the 3 things.
In your case, obviously you didn't just open a barber shop out of nowhere. Would you say you invested a lot of time instead of capital at the beginning? That really was your expense? Or like
you know what? Like I said, you gotta be risky. You gotta believe in yourself. Somebody might be like, why are you putting all that in there? You know what I mean? And then you're gonna say, you know what? This is what you think I'm putting in. But at the end of the day, I do have a reserve. I gotta make sure that my shares are always full. My you know what? Not even. When you first open a shop, you have to be able to pay everything off. Don't rely on all the barbers, because what if they all leave? That's why the ratio is so important. Make sure that you have the clientele to pay your bills. So if shit really hits the fan and something happens, all your barbers get sick, you know, like God forbid, make sure that if you work, you still know that you could cover all the bills and still be okay.
And if there's someone in a situation that they've made the mistake, didn't follow a certain ratio, and they're in the hole, any advice on how to turn things around to a certain degree, or?
Go back to square one. It's like, I have this conversation a lot with some of my clients, and some of them are extremely smart. One of them actually, it falls in exactly in this topic. He's going back home to live with his parents, and he's renting out so that he could pay for his college. And that is extremely smart. But majority of society will be like, nah man, I want my privacy, I want booty calls, and I want this and that. But at the end of the day, it's like, wait a minute, go back to square one. You can get that nice home-cooked meal by your mom and not pay for rent and have somebody else paying your rent? Like, why not? Put your pride aside. So in that same scenario, go back to square one. If you messed up, now you know what to not do, because so you're ahead of the game. There's no, oh man, I messed up, I'm a failure. How many jump shots did Michael Jordan miss in order to become the best? You understand what I mean? You think he just went like, okay, today I'm going to be the best basketball player, one shot, boom, and he was Michael Jordan? So it's the same thing.
So have you always been this fearless when it comes to this? Just
look
ahead, or?
I was mentored by somebody, man. God rest his soul. Stanley Dorillis. He was somebody that really, on a business level and just the fearless. Everybody that, if anybody talks about this guy, he would think about something and never procrastinate. He would be like, you know what? Yo, I'm thinking about. Will, what do you think about, we start a shoe cleaning company? I'm like, shoe cleaning? He literally had people coming in with dirty Air Force Ones when Air Forces were like the Gucci. And the following week he had a system, a rotation, where people would come drop them off and he was bringing in money. It was crazy. Like this.
Yeah.
Next up, Will, how about we start selling rims? You know how many people come up with ideas, but 5 years later, ask you the same thing? How about we come up with rims? This guy, actually, the next week, had a rack of rims, and people already taking orders.
It's not about the idea, you also know how to execute. He
executed everything he can. Clothing store, boom. It was a one-stop shop. Even to the point where was it him that wanted to start? Anyways, let's not get there, but he had so many different ideas. And he just would execute everything. So a lot of his way of thinking, and because you gotta take the good and you gotta leave the bad. And his the good things I took from him was just stay focused. Don't worry about the naysayers, because haters are not really hating on you. They're hating because you're fearless. The only reason why they're hating is because they're afraid to do something that you're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it makes them feel a little uncomfortable when they're around you, or if they hear about, you must know, and everybody has this, where if you fail, they're not happy about it, but that little slight second of a grin that nobody saw, it happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not that they don't like you. Okay, now I could elevate and catch up, but it's not a competition. You could have somebody that's successful at 19 years old and then go bankrupt at 30 and had that's what the barbershop holds, stories. We know people that at a young age had millions because of wrong decisions at an older age, but still young.
So relatively young, yeah.
Broke. And it's like, you have guys that started off broke and they're winning right now.
Everybody runs their own race.
Everybody runs their own race, and that's what people should focus on. Because man, don't think that the way that you run, if I use your shoes to run, if I step in your shoes and I run with the thickness of your sole, at the end of my race, I might not have any soles left. I need to make sure that the shoes that I wear is what fits. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everybody has a different thickness. It's just an an analogy, but you know what I mean?
Life is, it's different for everyone.
It's
You gotta
different
do it at
for
your own
everybody.
pace, and everyone does it differently, and that's what makes it so unique and
That's
fun
it.
too. We always end our podcast with a fun note and a question that's tailored to you. So this is a very specific question here. So you're gonna cut hair for 3 people, right? Anyone. They could be deceased, alive. Who are those 3 people?
Oh man.
And why? And why would you choose those 3? Each person as well. Just let us, whenever you got an answer in your head.
In no particular order, if you want.
No particular order, yeah. Who are these 2 people that, man, you'd want to cut their hair? And it could be influential individuals, it could be family related, it doesn't have
Martin
to
Luther King.
be. Okay.
Guaranteed.
Why?
Guaranteed. Because it was just a crazy influence. Civil rights, man. Take my hat off to him. Back then, not a lot of people had balls to stand up without violence. Because people thought you had balls if you stood up and cocked your gun and, if you ever touched your boom. But he did that in such a classy way where people had no choice but to respect him. Because they're like, yo, this guy's coming at me with his hands down. Imagine the conversation. Damn, bro.
Chill.
Another guy I would say Bruce Lee.
Why? That's
Why? Yeah, so why Bruce Lee?
It's just he used like 6% of his brain, man. And it's not like it's not about his strength. His brain, it wasn't his physique. Because your brain is what controls your physique.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like his way of thinking, like when he talks about water and all that crazy, like he was so deep. You know what I mean? He's like, wow.
So I feel like not necessarily self-control, he's controlling himself, but he understands how to...
He could just his movement, how fast he could move, how hard he could punch, how he controlled his core, how he knew, like, it was just crazy. Just the conversation, the haircut, wow. Oh man. A 3rd person?
Yeah, gonna come one more.
No matter how bad Vince's haircut is, you can't give him as I know you really want to fix it up, but you can't.
Stanley. Yeah, my mentor. Crazy, yeah.
Did you ever cut his hair?
Yeah, I did.
Deep questions, eh?
Yeah, that was deep. Stanley would be one person I'd like to cut.
Right here. William Biney, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We hope you liked this week's episode. And if you'd like to reach out to us, or just want to simply check out our previous episodes, visit our website, Montreal Marketeers, that's with 2 E's.com. You can also download our weekly episodes wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
Waiting for the bottle to come. I heard the Lord say, battle has just begun. I heard my daddy say,